So we asked the same question to Keegan and Jesse, but for you, how are you feeling a day after your bronze medal podium?
Well, I sort of feel like I'm in the clouds a little bit. Yesterday was definitely the most exciting day maybe ever for me, and I couldn't fall asleep at night. Last night I was just still living the moments again and again, and that award ceremony out in Lottie was just, I mean, it was the most amazing feeling, and the huge crowd and the flags being raised, I just started tearing up, and yeah, so it was an emotional day, and I'm still trying to get back, ground myself, so I'm ready to start tomorrow, but I'm definitely still on cloud 9.
Okay, tell us about how this race may have been a goal for you starting back in the spring.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this race since I saw it on the schedule. During the Olympics in Sochi, I was really dreaming of doing that team sprint, but I unfortunately did not make the team there, and so I was determined to really be the person to make the team this year. And so I didn't know, in fact, I didn't know I had made the team until really 2 days before the race, and that was maybe a tactic of Matt's to just never let anybody be too sure, and so to encourage and push everyone. But for sure, you know, a month ago, or really even in November, when I started to see how strong Jessie is this year in classic skiing and in sprinting and in everything, I was like, you know, we can win a medal in that team sprint in Falun. And I maybe didn't say it out loud, and I didn't say it out loud until a week ago when I sat down Matt and I said, for the first time ever, I belong on this team, and I need to be on the team, and Jessie and I we need to be on this team together, and we're going to win a medal. And I'm not sure even he was totally convinced at that time. That's maybe arguable. But I knew if we were showing up that day and things worked out and we were both in a fit position and ready to go, that it was totally a possibility. And so you know, everything worked out, and it was definitely more incredible than I expected, because when I started looking at the start list the night before, I was like, whoa, actually that's going to be a lot harder than I expected, as I was reading through the names and realizing who all we needed to beat. You know, there's so many good classic sprinters and classic skiers, and so when I actually saw what it was going to entail, it became all the more intimidating, and then that's when the nerves started hitting. But I think Jessie and I we were excited because it was something that maybe had never been done before. We had never had the success in classic team sprinting, and so it was kind of cool. We were joking when we did a run the night before that we're the real dark horses coming into this, and nobody knows what's coming. They didn't think we could classic ski. Look out, world! And you know, we even did a little cheer right before the race, like that we were like, look out, world, we're gonna do this. And so the fact that it worked out was just amazing.
You mentioned looking at the start list. Who in particular were you looking at as like a heavy hitter that you had to watch out for?
Well, because of the type of course that it was so hilly. This wasn't just your average classic sprint. It was climbing, 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 wall, 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 straight back down. So it's so challenging that as soon as I saw the list of people like Finland, Norway, Sweden, all of them, they're so strong at climbing. Germany, like Kowalczyk, even Poland. There was just so many names that I knew were going to be in the fight, and in particular, because of how challenging that course was, I knew that everybody was putting in their real climbers, and so that was the intimidating thing.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about the race. I know in one of your exchanges, I think you fell and someone was coming right at you. Just go through your race and what happened during your legs.
So during the semifinals, it was a little more casual. We were definitely still going hard, but people were not making crazy moves. We were all kind of just keeping things together, being ready for a move to be made, and everything went really well in our semifinals. We were still figuring out exchanges a little bit, but and you know, at one point I took like I went up the right side during the herringbone hill, and so it was really nice because the semifinals, you could try those things and figure out if they worked or didn't. And then once we came to the finals, right away, you know, the pace was so hot from the start. Even the first leg, we were going for it, and which was exciting because I knew that that's what we were going to excel at if the speed was high the whole time, and so our distance skiing skills would come in. And so the very first round, everything was clean and clear. And I think we were both like, whoa, we don't know what's going to happen here, but we're in the mix and that's what we got to do. And then the second leg came around, and that's when things just started picking up real hot. And I was really quite flooded when I came down into the stadium. And I tagged off to Jessie, and at one point, then I didn't know what happened. I was just down, and I was like, relax your muscles, Sadie, somebody's hitting you right now. And then I got drug around, and my pole was broken, and I got up and I was freaking out because I was like, oh no, are my skis broken? I know my pole's broken, and I was just so flooded from all that adrenaline and all that lactic acid from the time before. And Grover's amazing in that situation. He's like, okay, calm it down, Sadie. Come over here. Calm it down. Okay. I can do one more. So then Jessie came around on the second one, and then on my final lap, I sort of took that inside track, which at the time I was like, I'm gonna pass everybody on the inside track, and there was quite a bit of snow in it, and the coaches were standing in it, and so it was tactically not the best decision, but I got pretty tired, and then when we hit the herringbone hill, I was like, oh my gosh, I just gotta make it to the top because I know there's a double pole section, and I'm gonna catch people on the double pole. Despite being dropped a little bit, I'm gonna get them on the top. And so Matt was cheering on the top like, you have to get them! And so, I will get them. And then I caught back up to the group that was fighting for the bronze medal and tagged off to Diggs, and then at that point I couldn't even watch what was happening because all I could think was get to the finish zone. And so I was running to the finish zone, and then I was like, where is everybody, what's happening? And then I just see Diggs coming around the corner with Stina Nelson for the bronze medal, and I'm like, this is really happening because I know she is the toughest person in the head ever. When she comes to a finishing stretch, you want her on your team for sure. And so she just did an amazing job, and then she crossed the line, and it was the true dream coming true.
So, you know, at this level, how do you balance your own personal goals and then just being realistic with what you're going to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, we set goals in the summer, throughout the season. We're always setting goals, and you have the goals that are your dream goals, and then you have your goals that are your achieved goals, and your goals that are the little goals that you can achieve so that you can get some good positive vibes. And there's all different types of them, and of course you need to have goals at every single level. Certainly a World Championship medal in the team sprint was a dream goal. Jessie and I haven't even team sprinted together. I haven't team sprinted for like 4 years now, so I almost forgot how to do it. But I do know I can classic ski well at a high level, and I did know Jessie could classic ski at a high level, and so that sort of becomes a dream goal because we haven't done it together yet. And you know, with everything, every World Cup weekend you come into, or every championships, I have all levels of goals, and it's important to have every step. And if you don't have those dream goals, then you maybe don't belong here because you're not reaching for the highest level, or maybe you'll never reach this level because you never put something out there that was really risky and really scary and really intimidating to say even. And I think that's really important in making the step, and maybe like a really integral part of our team. When we first said that we wanted to win a medal in the 4x5 events, some people may have laughed or joked about that, like, oh, you'll always be like a 5th placer, or, you know, like that next step is actually a pretty big step. And I think that all of us are quite good at having those dream goals.
talk a little bit about the mentorship you received from Eric Flora and just the relationship you guys have had, and the influence he's had on, you know, your racing, World Cup, and then just his World Championships medal?
Yeah, about 10 years ago I had a really bad sinus infection and I took Levaquin, which is this antibiotic that has a crazy side effect of tendinopathy. So I took the antibiotic and then I developed Achilles tendinopathy, and at the time I couldn't do anything. I couldn't ski, I couldn't walk. I was in high school and I couldn't even walk between class to class. And so it was just a really hard time in my life, and I didn't know what to do. Do I quit skiing? Do I just stop exercising? How do I get through this? And so I slowly started gradually getting back to sport, and then I went to UAA for a year and I missed making the Olympic team. And then I was like, you know, the skiing is just not made for me. Like, things are just not working out. And at the time, Eric Flora came up and talked to me and said, you know, you have a lot of potential. You should come and race for APU. And I had just missed the Olympic team and hadn't had a good year, and I just thought, like, why is he coming to talk to me? I'm not even that good. And you know, he was famous to me because he was Ken Randall's coach. Like, that was amazing. And so I eventually went to APU and started in a really tough place. Like, I could not run at all. I could not roller ski at all. I basically could go walking or swimming, and maybe even some biking. I just had forms of tendinitis everywhere, and that was something that came with that drug, the side effect. And so he sort of backed me back down and said, okay, Sadie, we're going to just do 30-minute we're going to just do 30-minute workouts multiple times a day. So whether that's 5 times a day, you know, you're not going to look like the people that you're competing against, but we're going to find a way around this. And to have somebody take the time to believe in you enough to tell you you can still do it despite it being ugly or different is the most incredible thing. And I am so thankful for it. And you know, between then and now, I've had a world of ups and downs and swings, and I've had everything in between. And so I had a particularly rough summer this year. Things were going really well until August, at which point I got a knee injury, and I hadn't had any of these overuse injuries for like a year and a half. And so it was hard to go back to that life of, I'm going to the pool today, I'm going to go walk uphill, I'm going to go walk by myself uphill where there are bears, brown and black bears the whole time, and I'm going to yell the whole time and just say hello to them, and I'm going to be tough, and nothing is going to stand in the way. And it was a really, really hard summer. And then right when I got over my knee injury, around September, I have had a history of bone spur issues as well, and my bone spurs flared up right at that time. And so I went from just being so excited that I could go back to running because my knee was better, back to skate skiing and back to everything, and then I just was back down again and I couldn't put shoes on. And so I spent the 2 months before leaving for World Cup not having shoes on my feet and just spending my days on the ski erg or in the swimming pool or on the spin bike with my flip-flops on. And I went nowhere, but I wore flip-flops everywhere, and you know, like a week before leaving for World Cup, I didn't even know why I was leaving. I couldn't put shoes on my feet and I had no solution for it. And I was supposed to be going to race the best in the world. And not only had I had the worst training that I could imagine for the year, yeah, I couldn't put shoes on. So how was I going to strap my skis on? So Eric chiseled holes out of the back of my boots, and we had a very emotional discussion where he was like, you know, you just promised me you're not going to quit. Like, this is not something that is going to make you quit being a ski racer. This is something that you're just going to have to figure out, and it's never going to disappear when you're done ski racing, so it doesn't do any good to quit in between, because it's something you have to figure out. And he was like, you're just going to go over there and you're going to try one race, and if it doesn't work, then you you drop out of World Cup, you go to Germany and you figure out your feet with Fisher, and you take the time to do it, but you have to try. And it was one of those conversations that changed my world, because I was at a dead end, I felt like. And so yeah, Eric has been so incredibly positive through everything. And so to have him here, to see that was just, you know, when I saw him after the finish, we just like shared a hug, and I could see tears in his eyes, and it still tears me up now, but yeah, I am super fortunate to have the people in my life just being so positive.